Hello, welcome back to CinemaBurger, where I bring you movie reviews from a different perspective. We're back today with A Quiet Place Part 2, the highly anticipated sequel to 2018's A Quiet Place, starring Emily Blunt, John Krasinski, Cillian Murphy, and Millicent Simmons, who plays the deaf daughter of the family, and she is deaf in real life. Now, when I heard they were going to make a sequel, I was thinking, like, oh, do they really need to? Like, what are they going to do? And I was very, very pleasantly surprised. So let's get into it. Now, they show an opening of how, like, day one happened with these creatures attacking. And there is sound, and John Krasinski is back in it because it takes place in the past. So this scene works very well. It sets up characters. It does some good world building. Now, in terms of the sound, since the daughter is deaf, when they show things from her perspective, like there's really no sound, or it's numbed, the sound is like toned down. But as soon as like somebody touches the daughter, you hear full sound again, which is a really cool effect. So that was very well done. Plus, the scene of the attack is all in like one take pretty much, so that's very well done. Now we cut back to present time. This movie takes place immediately after the first one ends. So the mother, played by Emily Blunt, and the daughter, the son, and the baby are escaping. Now, since they figured out that the creatures are affected by high-pitched sound, they take a little speaker with the hearing aid to stop the creatures, and then when they're stunned by the high-pitched sound, they shoot them with a shotgun. So now they know how to stop these creatures, and it's pretty well done. Now, what I like about this movie especially is all the acting is great, especially from Cillian Murphy and Millicent Simmons. All the characters are very smart. No scene really feels unimportant or out of place. Basically, they hear radio frequency with a song playing on it by the sea, which means that someone is broadcasting this, so they want to try to get to this broadcasting location and put in the hearing aid to stop a lot of the creatures. So they have a plan, they're trying to go for it. So they meet up Cillian Murphy, who is their neighbor before the attacks, and he's all alone, and he doesn't want to help them because he feels it's unsafe, he doesn't want to get hurt, but he ends up helping anyway. Now the daughter wants to go, even though the mother doesn't want her to go to the broadcast location. Now, while the first Quiet Place was almost no sound, this movie does have sound and talking, which I thought originally was going to annoy me, but to do a sequel which is basically the same as the first one, which would have also been pointless. So this movie does change the style a bit of the first movie, but also improve upon it. Now, to distract or stop the creatures, the characters also do things like have water running and other loud sounds, since they have such acute hearing that a lot of sound would distract them, so they could move around and kill the creatures. Now, there's a point when Cillian Murphy and the daughter are on the way to the broadcast location, and they encounter like crazy people post-apocalypse, because Cillian Murphy said that there's people out there but they're not worth saving. Now, you think this is going to be a problem, but the movie really flips that plot point on its head in a really clever way. I'm not going to get into it. Now, in the beginning, when they show what happened on day one, they cut to present time, and it's day 474. So it's been about a year and a half since these creatures have attacked the whole country and stuff. Now, they show Emily Blunt looking for supplies and medicine in a drugstore. Now, if this is 474 days later, then it's most likely a lot of those drugs are going to be expired. But and they may not work, but I mean, maybe it has some effect, even if they're not as strong as when they're not expired, but I don't know, I'm not a doctor. Now, early on in the movie, the oldest son accidentally steps on a bear trap, and he's kind of incapacitated for a lot of the movie. Now, at the end, he gets a really good heroic moment that's played in parallel with the daughter having a really good heroic moment. And when I was watching that, I was like so like passionate. I was like on the edge of my seat rooting for these characters. Now, eventually, the daughter and Cillian Murphy get to an island where the signal is playing, and it's established that the creatures can't swim. But after the fight at the docks, apparently a boat got unhinged from the dock, and a creature ended up on there and gets on the island. So I was thinking, like, why didn't they get to the broadcast place as soon as they get to the island? Because they don't. They like talk to the people who live there, who escaped there since day one, so they've been living peacefully up until the creatures got there on that boat. So I was thinking, like, why didn't they just do that immediately? Obviously, it's because they could have another tense moment, but it's really out of place because the characters have been so smart up until now that because even though they're safe on the island, Cillian Murphy and the daughter, they have Emily Blunt and the kids waiting back there, the son and the baby, so they really shouldn't be wasting time, like, sleeping or... But I guess they were tired from trying to get there, so there's that. Now, A Quiet Place 2 is about an hour and 37 minutes. It's a nice, like, short movie. It doesn't overstay its welcome. This is a really well-made movie, and John Krasinski was the writer and director of this one. I think he was the writer and director of the first movie as well. Now, I heard that this is going to be a trilogy, so there will be one more movie. And I'm looking forward to that to see where it goes. Now, I'd have to rate The Quiet Place Part 2. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5 burgers because of the fact with the expired drugs and the whole waiting to go to the broadcast tower creates another scene of tension, but if they had just gone there immediately, it wouldn't have been that happened. So, but this was one of the best movies I've seen lately. It's one of the first movies I saw back in theaters after a long time, and I'm glad to be back in the movie theaters. Stay tuned for more movies. I'll be back soon. This is Scott Berger, and I'll see you next time.